Alright guys, so as you can see here, I finally got myself a grapple. Got the ARTILLIAN grapple. I've really been a fan of this grapple for the longest time. I've wanted one since the first time I've seen this thing on Tractor Time with Tim. He was one of the first I've seen with this grapple, and I've seen all the jobs that he's done with this grapple. This grapple is all sectional, so you can change it around and do whatever you want with it. Now what I chose to start off with here from ARTILLIAN is one grapple module. So this is considered a grapple module. So you got your top lid here and you got your bottom rake. This is all one piece, it's all bolted together. And I've decided to go with two rake sections. So these are called their rake sections. Now these are 40 pounds a piece, so they're ultra light. You can see all the cutouts they got in these. They got all these cutouts to reduce the weight for subcompact tractors and other tractors that just can't lift quite as much as the larger tractors do. So they got all these cutouts, which is really nice. All of the steel between both the rake and the grapple, from what I can tell, is 3/8 thick. And they call it super, what do they call it on their website? I think they call it super high strength steel is what they call it, but I believe it's AR 400 or maybe even stronger. It's very, very hard to break or bend that, and I have never heard of anybody bending one of these grapples or damaging it in any way. And you've seen quite a bit of these now on YouTube, and I have not heard of one failure, one complaint, or one breakdown. So that was another reason that I considered choosing their grapple before anybody else's. As you guys know, I work my little tractor pretty hard, and I like to push the limits quite a bit, you know. And I wanted something that was going to be strong and something that was going to withstand you know, the abuse that I'm going to put it through. You know, I'm hoping to really work this thing hard and, you know, show you guys what it can do. So here's the other section right here. Again, like I said, these are 40 pounds a piece. The grapple itself only weighs 90 pounds. So this is a 90-pound unit. So what's so nice about this grapple, so if you wanted to, say you want to pick up a big heavy rock or something and you weren't sure if you had the lift capacity for it, you can just throw one grapple on this thing and just get rid of the rakes, just leave the grapple, because this bottom section here is connected to the grapple. So this is one whole unit here. So you could just leave this middle piece on here, and that's going to gain you about 80 pounds of lift right there, getting rid of these two rake sections. Now, if you had three grapples, you're going to be losing almost 200 pounds by getting rid of the other two. So you could really, you know, change this thing around to adapt to the certain job that you need. I've seen Tractor Time with Tim actually remove everything except for one sectional rake, and he put it in the center, and I actually watched him dig out trees or roots or something with it. And he was just stabbing it right into the ground and ripping out whatever he was trying to rip out. Just one of the most unique setups and unique systems I've ever seen. Build quality is just amazing on this thing. For a guy who fabricates often, I could appreciate a well thought out design. The engineers really overdid themselves with this grapple. Just for instance, take a look at the welds here. I mean, you guys think my welds are good. Look at these welds. Amazing welds. All the way. I have not seen one bad weld on this. Not one weld that hasn't been finished. The design of this I love, because see what they're doing here is they're making these joints super strong. So they're cutting out little slots or cutouts in the plate steel here, and then they're sliding them all together like building blocks. Let me see if I can show you another spot here. But here is another spot right here by the good old Made in USA sticker here. So there's a spot here and a spot here where they slot these out, and then the part in the center here will fit into them, and then they're welded. This makes things ultra strong. And it was actually one of the things that I want to do to that tree shear that I was building. This was one of the designs I was thinking about doing when I rebuild it, because it bent on me. This is a really good joint right here, and it's one of the strongest ones you could have. So it's just one of their things that they do, you know, all these cutouts to save on weight, but yet it's not reducing the strength of this thing. You know, a lot of thought goes into something like this to be able to make something so lightweight yet so powerful. A lot of people don't understand how extremely hard that is to do. I mean, you guys see me build that tree shear, and you know, I thought I built it plenty strong. I mean, I know I could have built it stronger had I wanted to, but I thought I built it plenty strong for what it was, and I underestimated it. You know, stuff like this takes a ton of testing, a lot of designing and redesigning, you know, and I'm sure it took these guys quite a while to perfect the system, and it's definitely perfected now, because like I said, I've never heard of a failure, and for as light as this grapple is, it's extremely strong. And that was one of the reasons I actually did the little B-roll clip in the beginning of this video, because I wanted to kind of show all the amazing detail in this product, you know, from the teeth on the end here, these serrated edges, to the way that they have incorporated these joints here where they have slotted them out and welded a second piece into the joint like they did here. I wanted to show all of that, the way they've cut these holes out to reduce weight. And I hope that my B-roll clip did its justice, because I know it's very hard to tell when somebody's just walking around showing you video of something. So I was hoping that if I did a nice up close and personal slow motion B-roll clip, it would be able to showcase, you know, the build quality of this thing. Now the powder coat is literally the best powder coat I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding when I say that. The powder coat, you could just tell when there's a good powder coat. And I don't know what type of finish is on this. I mean, it's definitely powder coated, I'm assuming, but it's a rough powder coat. And the last time I seen Tractor Time with Tim talk about the finish on his, he says he has not chipped it off yet. So whatever they're using for this must be a very strong powder coat, or however they're painting this, and they're definitely doing something right. This isn't something that you're gonna buy and have all the powder coat just flake off and peel away. You know, this is a high quality implement. It's designed to be top of the line. I mean, even these hydraulic hoses, you can see they got these nice little rubber boots on them. They give you this nice little bungee cord here with some really nice clips here. It's not gonna get wrapped up in something you don't want it in. I mean, even the grease fittings are gold on this. I don't know if they're like a hardened Zerk fitting or something, but I've never seen gold ones before. Here's the other one here. I mean, everything on this thing just screams high quality. I mean, it's amazing. And another thing that I really like about this grapple is, as you can see, the cylinder is a smaller, skinnier cylinder. This grapple opens and closes so fast. It's not like some of the other grapples. You guys probably seen it when I pulled in. I was just above an idle, and this thing whips open and close. I mean, it's very fast. Yet you still got lots and lots of power. So the cylinders that they've used are perfectly matched for the implement that they built here. On a Kubota BX, you can roughly see about 750 pounds of pressure at the tip of this grapple with a Kubota BX. You get a bigger machine with, say, 3,000 PSI for the hydraulic pressure, and you're looking at probably over 1,000 pounds at the tip of this grapple here, which that's a ton of force. So kudos to them to making such a great design. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of close-up before I went out and used it. Wanted to explain to you guys why I decided to go with it. Another thing that I got that you guys might have seen is the pallet forks. Now, you guys know that I've been wanting to get another set of pallet forks for a long time. Ever since I got rid of my old pallet fork set when I traded my skid steer for my Cummins pickup truck, I've been really missing them, because I used to use those pallet forks on jobs before I started my YouTube channel. I used to use them things all the time, whether it was digging out old wood out of the ground, even just cleaning up brush and whatnot. Those pallet forks I used on so many different applications, and I really missed them once I got rid of them. I didn't realize how much I used them until I didn't have them. So I figured if I'm gonna go and get a grapple, I might as well get the pallet forks, because they're a cheap add-on at that point. You've already got the fork frame. So I figured, why not? You can see these forks are really well built. They're 3 inches wide by, I think, 1.5 inches thick. Like most pallet forks, they got the nice little lock up here on top, the spring-loaded lock. You could turn them to keep them up, so that when you go to slide them, you don't have to keep holding up on them. They're just a well-built fork, you can tell. I believe it's a 2,800 pound load limit for these. I think that's per fork, I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's per fork. So that's quite a bit of strength for a 3-inch wide fork. Now, these forks only weigh 55 pounds a piece, I believe. They're 55 or 56 pounds a piece, which is nothing. So altogether, I think they're 112 pounds for the pair. That's nothing, especially for a subcompact tractor. I chose the 36-inch forks because the shorter the length, the lighter they are, and I wanted the lightest pair of forks available, because I knew that I was going to be lifting heavy things with them, and every pound to me counts. Also, with the way that Artillian has designed their pallet fork frame, it's got all these slots and cutouts in it, so you could easily see through and see your pallet fork. So it's not like you're going to be going in blind if your pallet forks are a little too short. I don't think I'm going to have much trouble seeing the tips, which that was the only reason I was debating not getting the 36s, because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to see them. But from what I can tell, I could see the tips just fine, and they're not going to be a problem. So I would recommend going with the shortest fork you can, as long as you're able to still see the tips. If you get too low and you can't see the tip of the fork, then I would say go up one size until you can see the tip, because that is important to be able to see the tip of the fork, but weight is also important as well. So here's the pallet fork frame. Now, all these frames, I've only seen them black, and mine came actually Kubota gray. As you can see, it's almost a perfect match with my skid steer coupler here. I was really happy to see that, because before my pallet fork set, I've only seen them in black like this. It's like a matte finish, kind of like those pallet forks were. And I always thought they kind of looked a little bit bland, so I'm really happy that they decided to finally powder coat these gray. I know the John Deere pallet fork frame is green, and I always like the way that looks, so it's really nice that they finally got one for Kubota and got a gray one. For, you know, any other implement, gray would match just fine, even if you don't have a Kubota. So that's kind of a nice universal color. So I'm glad that they went with gray. I think it looks really good, and their powder coat, like I said, it's just flawless. They did such a nice job on it. I don't see this chipping in the near future at all. So I'm just super, super excited to finally have a grapple and a set of pallet forks. I've been wanting to show you guys more material for so long. I'm showing you different implements with my tractor, but unfortunately all I really had was the bucket. I had a couple other things, but you know, I just didn't have a whole lot to show you when I was out there in the field working. So now I got a grapple and some pallet forks. I've got a lot more material now that I can show you guys, and hopefully you guys can start to see you know, just how versatile these things can be when you have other attachments like a grapple and pallet fork. So I don't want to do a bunch of talking here. This is just supposed to be like an intro video. I just want to explain to you guys a little bit about this Artillian setup, about how versatile it can be. Absolutely amazing build quality, and just how impressed I was with this system. When I bought this, by the way, I did have to install the hydraulic lines, which is no big deal. There's a couple plugs you pull here. All the fittings they give you, you just thread them into the cylinder, and then you run them up to your hydraulic third function, and you're all set there. So everything went really smooth with my first install on this. I had never used a grapple, and I still haven't used a grapple. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to be with me for my first use here. Maybe I can try to get out there and just do a couple things before it gets too dark out. It's already pushing 4:35, and as you guys can see, the sun's going down fairly quickly out there now. So let me see if I can get some things wrapped up in here and see if I got some time to get you guys set up. I know we're supposed to get snow coming Thursday night, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to use something like this grapple again, because depending on how much snow we get, I'm going to be plowing instead. So hang tight, guys, and I'll see what I can do. All right, guys, well, it's now dark outside. I went out to record you some footage. My first time with the grapple. I moved them boxes around. I had the boxes that these came in, cardboard boxes. I also moved the pallet, and I moved a couple big piles of brush that I had laying around. I've got so much brush to move. That's all around the edges of my property from clearing land with the bucket, and all I could ever do was just push it into a pile. And someday I knew I was going to get a grapple. That was always the plan. And then I was going to clean up all the outer edges and the banks, clean them up and burn the stuff that I can burn and get rid of the other stuff. So now that I got a grapple, I'll have plenty of work to do. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more of this. It might not be for a little bit because now we're going to get some snow, go figure. You know, we haven't gotten any snow all winter, but now that I got a grapple, better believe we're going to get some snow now. So the camera did cut out on me. I don't know how much footage I actually got out there. I believe that I got most of the footage that I wanted, and I think once I started bringing up a pile of brush, and I think once I started to bring it over to the burn pit, that's when the camera died. I did try to turn it back on, it just failed again. But at least you guys got to see me use the grapple for my first time. I did stay out there for like another hour after, just playing around with some stuff, but I didn't move too much because I want to save that work for, you know, when I could record it and when you guys can see me do it. So I didn't really want to do too much out there. I was just kind of playing around with it and getting used to the grapple. So really enjoying it so far. I'm really happy with it. First use was great. Can't wait to use the pallet forks. I'll find all kinds of jobs this summer to use for them as well. Oh, and on a side note, those lights are extremely bright. Those cab lights, man, they're so bright. Honestly, if those were the only lights I had, it'd probably be enough. But having these lights down below and the lights in the middle here, these factory lights, it gives me all kinds of light. So I'm totally confident that I'm going to be able to see just fine this winter now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Seeing my grapple, my first time use with it. I'll be making another video shortly, because this weekend I'm almost positive I'm going to be making a plow video. Looks like quite a bit of snow coming this weekend, so hopefully by the end of the weekend I'll have a plow video for you guys as well. So stay tuned for that. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you guys in the next one.